Hello everyone, I hope you are doing well. This is the 18th video of the Learning and Evolving from Past Practitioner series, a video series aiming to introduce important historical figures in the internal self martial arts and Xiudao practice. I started introducing Chinese internal martial arts and Xiudao practices in a lecture format more than 5 years ago. In the beginning, I created a few videos focusing on some key figures such as Xue Dian, Zhang Zhaodong, and Cheng Tinghua, along with their styles. Later on, I shifted my focus to systematically introducing some key concepts related to practice. Around the beginning of 2021, I started a new series titled Learning and Evolving from Past Practitioners. With time, I adjusted the structure of each video in order to make it more comprehensible. 2 months ago, I resumed this series. I realized that my prior videos on Xue Dian, Zhang Zhaodong, and Cheng Tinghua did not align with the new format. For example, some background information was a bit too much. Therefore, I will do follow-up videos on these 3 figures with some new information and context, starting with today's video on Xue Dian. Before going forward, let's watch a small clip of my own Xingyi demonstration. I shot this video about 19 years ago. This video became one of the most popular Xingyi 5 elements demonstrations in China. Many martial artists use this video to introduce Hebei style Xingyi. Furthermore, many people started practicing Xingyi after watching this video. Now, the question becomes, why did this video attract a lot of attention in China? The answer is, this video mainly reflects Xue Dian's training, especially the metal, wood, and water fist, or Xue Dian's method, besides some elements from Zhang Zhaodong as well. I have practiced almost all the available Hebei styles before the age of 30. Eventually, I decided to focus only on Li Cunyi, Zhang Zhaodong, and Xue Dian styles of Xingyi, especially Xue Dian Xingyi. It became a style that I focus on the most in terms of training and teaching. Based on my experience, Xue Dian Xingyi and Xiang Xing Shu, his own creation, reflect a revolution in Hebei style Xingyi. His Xingyi represents the highest level of Hebei style Xingyi in the period of Republic of China or 民国时期. Also, the link to my prior videos introducing Xue Dian and his practices is in the description. I recommend watching that video if you are interested in more background information. Before introducing Xue Dian further, let me answer a couple of questions asked by community members on last week's video about Minyi, a key Wu-style Tai Chi master in the period of Republic of China. Eric Draven left a comment on Minyi's video, quote, "It's a shame what happened to Minyi, but the war between China and Japan was a very severe one where up to 25 million Chinese lost their lives, and it's very rarely talked about here in the West. If it were me, I would have condemned Minyi to life in prison where he would be forced to write books on medicine and Tai Chi for prosperity. But that's just me." End quote. Thank you for your comment, and I totally understand your sentiment behind it. Well, you have to know that based on my years of experience, in China, any format of art, including martial arts, is nothing more than decoration when facing against politics, meaning that the authority will not consider the impact on the art at all when dealing with political issues. That is the perfect example. As a Chinese, I understand this point very well. I used to feel the same whenever I encountered such stories. Very often, these kind of stories made my blood boil. But with time, I realized that I was wrong for my naivety. Thank you for your comment. Pepadan, a long-term member of the community, asked, quote, "One thing I've noticed is Yang style and its descendant styles all seems to sway the entire body and appear to lean, breaking Bai Hui and Hui Yin balance. At least from a Chen style's perspective, that seems compromising. Could you explain if you know the reason why they do things this way?" End quote. Good question, Pepadan. Well, first, there's no such concept of a balance between Bai Hui and Hui Yin, but there is the concept of coordination between Bai Hui and Hui Yin in practice. So coordination is key. Second, the Yang style body method focuses on martial energy generation and maintaining good balance, which can be experienced in self-defense and pull-chance. Chen style also applies the same principle and practice, and is not at all a compromising way of practice. I hope my answer helps. Now, let's move on to today's main topic, the introduction of Xue Dian. Xue Dian was born in 1887 and passed away around 1953. He was originally from Xingyi, Hebei province. He moved to Tianjin for work and later took on teaching martial arts as his career. He studied Xingyi with Li Zhenbang, the grandson of Li Luoneng, the Xingyi founder. In Tianjin, he became a student of Li Cunyi, one of the most important Xingyi teachers and key disseminators of his time. After Li Cunyi passed away, Xue Dian became the director of Tianjin National Art School or Tianjin Guoshuguan. By the way, the reason why Li Cunyi and Xue Dian used the term national art instead of martial art as their school's name was Li Cunyi's own statement. Translated quote, "Only Xingyi is the national arts and all the rest are martial arts." End translated quote. Li Cunyi stated this to emphasize the prominent position of that style. Xue Dian's passing away was not due to natural causes. He was taken away by the Shanxi Police Bureau after 1952 and never came back due to a historical issue in which he was previously involved. In China, that is the polite way to say that someone died after being arrested by the police. Basically, he got involved in Yiguandao for a few years. Headquartered in Tianjin, Yiguandao was an illegal cult back then in China, and some Yiguandao groups rioted against the government around 1951. Even though Xue Dian quit Yiguandao a long time before those events, he was punished due to his previous involvement in that organization. That was tragic. However, even though public mentions of him became less frequent after his disappearance, his Xingyi practice continued to be mentioned, referred to, and demonstrated by many Xingyi teachers due to his influence in martial arts. I witnessed this phenomenon myself growing up in Tianjin. Such an important historical figure in Xingyi history cannot be talked about comprehensively in such a short video. So I will focus on two of his main teachings, including his Xingyi and Xiang Xing Shu, to elaborate on his achievements. First, let's talk about his Xingyi. Based on my research, his Xingyi is actually a synthesis of the training method of the Hebei and Shanxi styles. His main Xingyi lineage comes from Li Zhenbang, who was the grandson of Li Luoneng, the founder of Xingyi. Li Zhenbang, as a direct inheritor of the authentic Hebei style, also taught martial arts in Shanxi for many years. So his Xingyi was influenced by the Shanxi school as well. This Hebei style Shanxi influenced method is clearly visible in the current training method of the Xingyi lineage passed down from Li Zhenbang. In Xue Dian's Xingyi, the waist and the hip movements are influenced by the Shanxi school, while the upper body adheres to the standard Hebei style method. This unique body method and structure creates the distinct flavor of Xue Dian's Xingyi, especially in power releasing or Fajin, where the smooth flow of force is particularly prominent. This is inseparable from his training method. Regarding the 12 animal forms in Xingyi, Xue Dian reorganized the popular training method of his time and developed his own unique approach. In particular, his versions of the rooster, monkey, hawk, swallow, and snake forms, among others, differ from those in other Xingyi systems. This was the result of his significant enrichment of Xingyi training method at the time and represents a notable contribution to the practice of the 12 animal forms in Xingyi. Next, let's talk about his Xiang Xing Shu, or imagery and animal method. Xiang Xing Shu is the system created by Xue Dian in Tianjin. It was designed to enrich and complete the content of Xingyi. Due to its limited dissemination, its influence has not been as widespread as that of Xingyi. For over 20 years, I have been actively introducing this system. As more people come to understand Xiang Xing Shu, an increasing number of Xingyi practitioners have started to study it. Let me play a compilation of some videos demonstrating my performance of Xiang Xing Shu. So it seems like whether in Xingyi or Xiang Xing Shu, Xue Dian placed great emphasis on internal training. He was one of the earliest martial artists in the Chinese martial arts community to integrate Dao's internal cultivation method with martial techniques. He paid particular attention to training the Dantian and to the development of martial energy release or Fajin. This focus was closely tied to his rich and extensive training experience. As for Xue Dian's remarkable combat skills, I often heard martial art experts speak of them when I was a child. For example, his posture and structure in training were known in Tianjin as the combat frame or 实战架. Because his body method was specifically designed to suit practical combat in Xingyi. As a successor of Xue Dian's training method, I'm the first teacher in China to publicly teach his system in the last 2 decades. Xue Dian promoted his Xingyi and Xiang Xing Shu in Tianjin, and I was fortunate to systematically learn his system from several of his disciples. Therefore, I feel it is my responsibility to transmit this method. That is what I have been doing for nearly 20 years and will continue to do so in the future. When teaching Xingyi, my sequence begins with the Li Cunyi's method, as it represents the traditional style of the Hebei school and is considered relatively standard. Then I generally teach Zhang Zhaodong's method because my grandfather, Yang Qinglin, was a disciple of Zhang. Additionally, Zhang's Kung Fu is particularly suited for practicing expensive postures and developing that style, so I teach this method. For those who are serious and persistent in their martial practice, I also teach Xue Dian's method. In my view, Xue Dian's system, especially his Xingyi, is the product representing the early Xingyi practice of Li Luoneng with further development. It is a system that connects the past and the future, making it the most complete system within the Hebei school. His Xiang Xing Shu is the further development of Xingyi, designed especially to overcome the problem of stiffness that often arises during Xingyi training. Xue Dian not only taught many students but also wrote many books, especially his 2 books on Xingyi and Xiang Xing Shu, which became very popular during his lifetime. Although he did not leave behind any videos, he left many photographies of his forms. These photos serve as some of the best study references for learning Xingyi. In the process of teaching Xue Dian's Xingyi and especially his Xiang Xing Shu, I organize all the teaching content passed down by my teachers. A lot of the important training content was not recorded in Xue Dian's books, but was passed down by his disciples to me. I also designed some Fajin training practices to better supplement Xue Dian's self-training routines and movements. The Fajin practices, due to limitations of the written format, could not be recorded in books generations, even though they were a key part of his training method. Also, to better promote Xue Dian's Xingyi, I created a new form called the Hebei Xingyi 17 form routine. This routine is primarily based on Xue Dian's Xingyi, combined with some practices from Li Cunyi and Zhang Zhaodong. It covers the main practices of the 5 elements feast and the 12 animal forms in one routine. Since the 5 element feast have 5 forms and the 12 animal forms have 12, making 17 forms altogether. Hence the name Xingyi 17 form routine. This routine is designed to help Xingyi practitioners quickly master the framework of Xue Dian style. I plan to teach that form systematically in the future. Now I will demonstrate a few selected movements of this routine for everyone to see. Then fire, then earth, then count. 1, then from here, hard movement. Yes, yes. Then the body, then 1, then fly to the sky, then chest, then shoot the weight, 2, 3, then 1, then 1, then only stop, turn, then here, then 1, 2, after here, 1, 2, 3, 4, then 5, then 6. Again, When we reflect on Xue Dian's training method and contributions, we realize that he was, in many ways, very fortunate. First, he had an excellent and authentic lineage of teachers. Second, he lived during a golden era in the development of traditional Chinese martial arts. Third, he was diligent, determined, and made outstanding achievements. At the same time, however, he was also quite unfortunate. As the victim of one of the most brutal civil wars in China's history, and as a political casualty, his fate was indeed tragic. Fortunately, his martial arts have been passed down. I hope practitioners will value and preserve them. So, that was Xue Dian. That brings us to the end of today's video. I hope you all found today's topic interesting and informative. Please post your questions about Xue Dian, his practice, and his lineage in the comment section. I will answer them for you in the first part of next week's video. Thanks for watching, see you next time, and enjoy your practice.